So today going to do a flashing job. I got a chimney that needs to be reflashed, and I'm just trying to pack my truck up and get out of here. I should have been out of here probably 30 minutes ago. I was hoping to leave about 6, but it's just getting so dark in the morning that I'm so worried that I might forget something. So this job's an hour and a half away, and I want to make sure that I have everything I need before I go. I might have to stop off and get a couple things. I guess the guy says he's got like a Home Depot or a Lowe's real close to him, so I might have to stop and get another roll of ice and water shield. I didn't realize, but I'm kind of running low, so and then maybe a couple other things from Home Depot, like some Lexel or Through the Roof or something. So I'm running through the checklist and trying to figure out what I need to do the job. I've never seen this job. The guy sent me a couple photos, and I'm just trying to think of everything I can before I drive an hour and a half and I don't have everything I need. To start with, I just start running through the job in my head and what I'm going to have to do to get this job done. So basically, I need a ladder to get on the roof. So we'll start with that. Got my ladder here. And I'm gonna need some sort of setup on the roof. Today, it's just a small pencil chimney. It's gonna be a minimal setup. I'm not gonna set up my roof scaffolding like I normally do. If it's a steeper roof or a bigger job. This roof doesn't look so steep, so I'm gonna do the job just off a plank. So I've got these 2 pitch hoppers I'm gonna throw in there, and I'm gonna run a 10-foot plank across. I'm gonna do all my work off of that. And I have this extra one here that I can use to step on or put stuff on or whatever, some tools. I've got my drill. The drills always come in handy. So I do have some ice and water shield, and I do have some underlayment. I have some lead. I stock up on lead ahead of time, so I grabbed some rolls from my house. This one's going to be a pencil chimney, and it looks like it maybe is mostly going to be 8-inch lead. So I have a bunch of I have some cut pieces that come off of other jobs, a partial roll of 8, and then a brand new roll of 10, and then some 12. So just whatever I need for the chimney, I'll have. I realize most people don't have like a bunch of lead laying around, but I used to only bring like a roll of 8-inch lead to the job, or a roll of 10-inch, or whatever I need, mostly 8-inch, I suppose. But now I ordered the lead in bulk, so I have it at my house. So I'll buy 20 rolls of lead at a time to help save money on it. So if you go buy a roll of lead somewhere, it might be $150 or $180, depending on where you go. So I buy it in bulk, and I get it for $118. I pick it up at the place. I don't have to pay delivery. So $118 a roll. I feel like, if I buy that ahead of time and I have it on hand, it's worth it for me to do that. I have this stuff that was given to me by my neighbor. It's just Armor Seal sealant. It's like same as the zip system kind of stuff. This stuff turns into like rubber inside. I don't think you can buy this from the public, but my neighbor gave me cases of it because it's like the company can't use it for window flashing anymore. So I use it for my back gutter pieces of flashing, and it helps me to just build up and pitch the water away. So we have that. I have a couple tubes of Lexel. I have a 100-foot cord, level, of course, if I need it. I have some saw blades for my big grinder. I have the big grinder in the truck. I have the leaf blower in the truck. I have a tent. What if it was pouring all day yesterday and all night? It's going to rain a little bit today at some point. What if it starts pouring on me? I have my pop-up tent. I have to be able, once I get the lead out of there, I have to be able to have a plan B if it starts pouring on me. So this tent, is going to help me keep the house, watertight. I've got a caulking gun. I've got some buckets to do. Obviously, when I get up there, I'm going to be filling buckets with shingles and lead and ripping everything off. And I'm just trying to think, do I have everything I need before I go? What if I rip the lead flashing off and there's big gaping holes in the motor? Okay, well, I've got to have that covered. So I do have a small bucket of quick setting motor in the truck. If I run into that, I need edge metal, I need nails. The homeowner's providing the shingles today, so I don't have to worry about the shingles, but nails and hand tools, and I've got my upgraded toolbox. My other one lost its hinges, and so now I've got every tool under the sun in here. I've got way too many tools in here, but I can tell you now that I've just seen it. Like this box is watertight, but it just dumped water into my toolbox when I opened it. That might be a flaw in the design. Maybe I should just tip the box next time I open it. But yeah, this one actually latches, where my other one, the latches fell off, and this one's watertight. My other tools were just getting rusted out, sitting in my old toolbox, so finally had to upgrade. Yeah, so now I've got two 10-foot plank, one for the roof, and I'm gonna maybe put one on the ground. That way when I get all my flashing measurements, I'll probably just cut most of my flashing on the ground. It's just me today. The boys are back in school, so I got no one to run for material or anything. I'm lugging everything myself. And I've got about 3 hours worth of driving, going there and coming home. So for this to be a one-day job, which it needs to be a one-day job. I can't have this job go more than one day because I didn't price it for more than one day, and I just can't afford to take more than one day to do it. I have other stuff to do, so I better make sure it goes smooth. So I think that I've got everything I need, and this is usually the spot where I get confident, I drive out, and then I turn around 10 minutes down the road because I forgot something, which is better than getting to the job and forgetting. But I'm thinking I'm forgetting something, but who knows? I gotta be good. This is the setup today. We got one. It's not really a steep pitch. It's not too high off the ground, so just a simple setup. I don't need the roof scaffolding. Just got the two pitch hoppers and a 10-foot plank, and that's all I'm gonna need to do this one. Got this ladder not far off the ground, holding it off the gutter with the pitch hopper. And this is what we're working on, this lead. You can see these squirrels have been eating this thing. They love to eat that lead. So homeowner says they don't know if any water's coming in, but we got to replace the lead anyway. So we're going to replace everything here. We don't know how any of this business was done, so we're not just gonna do the counter flashing. We're just gonna rip it up and do the whole thing. May as well do the whole thing while I'm here. Oh, who's this little guy? What's up, dude? Yeah, so we're gonna pull some shingles, get some ice and water shield around here, some edge metal, the ice and water shield, and then we will flash it in a typical way. Have to do something behind here to stop the ponding. Oh, we'll have to fix this lap. These guys got a backwards lap on here. I suppose it's not critical if they've got it all step flashed properly behind, but still I would never put a backwards lap on. It looks wrong. Yep, so homeowner's got some shingles. The shingles won't match, but they're close enough. These shingles here are 21 years old, I think. So they have some granule loss and a little bit of pitting, but overall the roof actually is still okay, aside from all these nail holes and stuff that were put here for some reason. Someone's got some white caulking that they put everywhere they put nail holes. Yep, so we're not messing around today because, like I said this morning, it's an 1.5-hour drive. So, I got to get this done and you know, we only have so much daylight this time of year. Yeah, nail right here, look. Right through it, unbelievable. God, I hate that, nails there too. Not even covered. What I'm gonna start with usually on something like this is I'm gonna start by just removing flashing. And I always just use my roofing bar, and I literally just pull it up and I cut it like that until it comes off. You know, just so I can get it out of the way. I know it's all coming off, but I just wanna get everything out of the way and see what's going on with it. And then same thing with the shingles. I'm not gonna mess around. I'm gonna strip them. I'm gonna violently strip these things out, get them out of here. No need taking a lot of time to do that because I need to use my time to go into what's important. Little update here. Got the shingles pretty much all stripped now. I gotta pop some of these nails out. Now I'm gonna work on taking all this step flashing out. You can see they did it in combination. They had a piece of lead to bend it around the corner, and then this corrugated aluminum step flashing corners, and just regular straight aluminum cards here. This is pretty typical way you see it done, but you can see that, you know, these nails, a lot of them are all, you know, rusted. Some of the ones out here are rusted. This is what it looks like in the back. They had a couple pieces of lead. This one I just pulled out, went like that. This one, they have another piece that goes under as well, it looks like. Yeah, so I mean, they did a decent job going around it. But I'm gonna pull all this stuff out, and you can see that the brickwork and the mortar and stuff is pretty rough in there. So I'm gonna get it all out. Yeah, I mean, this one's got a big old lipper on it. So I'll get all this stuff off here, and then I'll start grinding. I'll get my grinder with the cup wheel and smooth this stuff out. And then I've got, you know, just some holes to take care of before we flash it back over. Yeah, so when you're doing this, you know, don't take your time with it. You know, it just rip this stuff out. Get it out of your way. It's a lot easier to put down shingles than it is to carefully take them off. Well, here's one for instance. Look how close this nail is. You know, if water's not getting through there now, like, it's got to be close. So there was a few of those. You don't want to nail close to those shingle seams. The key. You don't want to nail close to the key. That's what they call it. Key or keyway. I don't know what the hell they call it. I'm not a roofer. Okay, all the step flashing is off. Yeah, it's pretty much to look at in here. You can see that these bricks just like lip way out, and they tapered it right in to the chimney there, and all this stuff is kind of pretty jagged, so I'll have to chip that off, and then I'll just take my grinder and grind it. I won't be able to get this all the way. I'll just ease up the edges a bit and take off some of the big stuff. There's just not much I could do with that. I mean, maybe I could get it perfectly straight if I spent a long time grinding on it, but we'll just get it somewhat flat, and it'll have to be good enough. Same with this. Have to bust off some of this stuff, flatten it out a bit. The back's the same. Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing. Sometimes when you open them up, they're just like, sometimes they can be really rough. Other times they're surprisingly smooth and the joints are full. You don't have to do much, but yeah, this one I'll have to work on this one a little bit. Try to just flatten it out. And I mean, you can see how far away the wood is here. So this stuff was just spanning over that gap. And you know, this is why I used the edge metal to help span these gaps a bit better. Then you don't ever have to worry about stuff settling in the hole. Just got done grinding the edges off with my cup wheel. It's a diamond cup wheel, so just hit everything real quick and kind of flattened it out. Obviously it's not flat, but it's definitely a lot better than it was, and And now my metal and my ice and water shield and flashing will have something a little flatter to lay against. I'm just grabbing some of this metal drip edge at Lowe's for my edge metal, and I was noticing their lead flashing here. 8-inch lead says $46.97, was $188. I think it's mismarked though, because this says the 10 inches on clearance for $143 and the 12 is for $157. I don't know. Is it worth a shot? What do I got? 1, 2, 3, 4 rolls here. I'll buy all 4 rolls right now. You get a price check on this stuff, I might get a deal. So I just went into Lowe's to get this edge metal and a little bit extra grace in case I run short, and I ran into this deal on 8-inch lead. They keep the 8-inch lead, or they keep all their lead in cardboard boxes inside like Lowe's or Home Depot. I don't know why, but I just got 4 of those rolls. Look at that, $46.97 a roll. I got 4 rolls for $187.88. Oh my God, I am pumped. I haven't got lead that cheap. Actually, I've never bought lead for that cheap. The cheapest I ever got it was $50 a roll. That was 20 something years ago, but man, today's my lucky day. All right, so I'm just getting back from Lowe's. This is the edge metal that I'm gonna use today. I believe that they sell this as rain diverter. So basically, I think it's intended to go up on a roof, and it slips under the shingle, like over a doorway, and it will help divert the rain. But you know, they don't have the usual edge metal that I normally would get at the lumber yard. So I use this, and all I have to do to make it work is to cut this edge off. I suppose I could bend it over too, but it's easy enough just for me to cut it off. So I'm just gonna use my grinder. Got this little abrasive cutting wheel that I'm gonna finish it off, just making this cut. And then I'll be able to use this to go around the base of the chimney. All right, this is a look at the edge metal. I got it all on. You can see there's little holes in the corners, but that's no big deal. This stuff doesn't have to be too pretty as long as it's laying kind of flat on the chimney. And it will give us, you know, it's great for bridging the gaps on each side, you know, between the roof deck and the chimney. And then also it gives us something really good to stick to. Look at that little guy. Forgot that one. Let's get that one out of there. Yeah, so now I'm ready to start putting the ice and water shield on. That's what I'm gonna do next. Ice and water shield is on, but as you can see, it doesn't like to stay stuck to the brick. So I'm gonna help it out a bit before I do the saw cutting and kick up a lot more dust. I'm just gonna, little Excel, little through the roof. I'm gonna silicone the seam all the way around. That way it can't peel down and collect dust while I'm cutting it. I know it's gonna stay up here because of the metal, but I just want it glued to the brick as well. You know, if it's tight to the brick, then it's watertight. So if I had to leave it for the night, I wouldn't want this to be open a little bit where water could run down the brick behind it. So I'm gonna glue it shut, and then that's where it will stay. You can see the back is the same thing too. I got all the joints cut out for the lead now, and I went down, I cut all my lead down there, right beside the road, rather than bring all the lead up. The homeowner picked up these GAF shingles. Obviously they're not gonna match this, but he doesn't seem to care one bit. He doesn't care about if it's gonna match or not. So this is what he got us, this is what we're putting on. So now that we got everything ready, we're gonna start by building our shingles up here before we do anything. So our shingle has to come up to the very front of the chimney before we can start putting any lead on. All right, on this first piece of flashing, I got the shingles up to where they need to be. And I've got these pieces underneath. See how I just put them on there? I just put them upside down, put a nail through them, and you know, bend them up, and they'll catch this piece here. This piece goes on, and it has, I get a little mark here that tells me where 5 inches is from the edge. So it's going to be 5 inches overlap on both sides. But you're going to notice I have this pretty square with the shingle here. This side is higher on this side than this side. This happens a little bit, and basically the chimney's either twisted compared to the roof, or the roof shingles are off a little bit. It could really be either. It happens both ways pretty often. Guys throwing shingles down don't usually chalk lines and make sure everything's nice and square either. So the most important thing is that we don't try to cheat this side up so it's the same height and the same bend as that, because now we'll have a crooked piece. So what we have to do is make sure that this piece, it runs perfectly parallel. And I'll measure it in a second. It'll run perfectly parallel with that front piece, okay? And then if the chimney is twisted or whatever, it won't matter. It will still look good. If we start trying to cheat this piece so it's the same height of the bend on both sides, it will start to look ugly. So, all right, I'm gonna bend. So now that the shingles are on, now we have these next 3 pieces of lead that go on before more shingles go on. Okay, so all 3 of these pieces will go under this next shingle here. It's very important that you listen to that. Okay, this first bend starts with a crease here. Okay, work the crease and then bend it down and over. This crease isn't going to be near as big as the other one because it doesn't come up as high on the brick. As you can see, this comes up a little higher. This is the second piece. It goes on. This one also has a 5-inch overhang on either side. It gets bent like this, down and around. Lots of coverage, okay? Now the third piece is going up here, okay? Third piece goes on, and then the shingle. Notice that this one is crooked to the one below it. This one is parallel with the shingle, right in line. Let me back it up. It looks appropriate. This one, there's more space between here and here than there is here and here. Okay, that's fine. This won't show from the ground. However, if you put this piece on crooked, everybody will notice it. So this is a little trick to just kind of hide a twisted chimney or twisted roof. Now that we got all 3 pieces of lead on, so we have the apron piece, the counter flashing piece, and the side piece. Now we can put the shingle on. So all of these 3 pieces, 1, 2, 3, will go under this first shingle. Wherever this first shingle ends up is fine, okay? So that's what it looks like. And then we're ready to put it on. So, you know, I try to get these bends to be kind of consistent, but sometimes on these chimneys that come through a little squirrely, you can't really get a straight bend because the side, like, it angles out. From here, it tapers in. And the same on this side. You see this side's even worse. It's got a little bit of a lean. I can't really get that out because of how much that tapers. So sometimes you do end up with that and you don't get the perfect. If the chimney came through the roof plumb, like here, yeah, you could get it nice and plumb and straight till the bottom where it would curve a little bit. But yeah, sometimes you can't do it, and it's okay. We still have plenty of coverage. Here's a little better look at how much that front of the chimney tapers, and that's why That's why we have the lead tapers like that, because the chimney tapers so much. All right, I'm gonna go over how I do this back piece. A lot of people ask about the back piece. So this is how I do this one. I do my plumb line like normal, and I put it right to my plumb line and pretend like this is a full sheet of lead coming over, right? I take my knife and I put it in the corner and I slice upward like that, kind of angling behind the chimney a little bit. And then this one I put in the corner and I cut it out like that. Okay, and then while I'm pinning this to my plumb line, I'll start folding this around the back like so, making sure I stay plumb on my plumb line. And then this piece here folds down over that, and it looks something like that when it's done. And this will help hold it nice and plumb. If you have it nice and tight, use your mallet to make sure it's nice and tight. It will hold it nice and plumb while you set it in place. So I just marked the flashing with some Sharpie to illustrate where I'm going to cut it. So I just kind of establish the bend. I make sure it's on my plumb line, and then I just take a Sharpie, and you see that this point is going to start at the where it meets the roof, and then this cut actually comes up just to angle it so it lays down behind the chimney a little bit more. And then right there, I'm just going to slice that line straight down, and then this corner will bend around nice after. All right, so we're getting to the back gutter piece. I used a piece of 12-inch wide flashing for this. I bent it upward 2 inches, and I'm gonna bend these ears around eventually to go, over what we left here. You can see there's a little cut there, and that ear will cover that little cut pretty good. The problem with this is water can still sit back here. It doesn't pitch, right? We don't have a cricket, and by code, we don't need a cricket until we hit 30 inches wide. This chimney is 20 inches wide, just a hair over down here. So we don't need a cricket. And what I've been doing lately to help with things is I take this piece of gutter flashing, and I get it all bent to what I want to do with it. And then I just I pull it back out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these tubes that I showed you earlier. It's just disgusting black rubber. It's not tar. This stuff very much turns into a rubber. When you feel it, it's like it feels like really good quality rubber when it hardens up. But right now it's a liquid. And I'm gonna put it all back here. I've got 2 tubes of it. I'm gonna make a little makeshift cricket out of this stuff. And it's just it doesn't take much to pitch water. So I'll put the 2 tubes here. I'll put the piece of gutter flashing on top. I'll form it. And then we will shed water, no problem. All right, so this is what 2 tubes looks like behind here. It's really sticky stuff, rubbery. Like, you have to be so careful not to get it on you or on your hands or on your pants, because it's like never sees. It gets everywhere. All of a sudden you look over and have it on your elbow and not know it, and it'll literally get everywhere. So you have to be super careful. I just use a strip of shingle when I'm doing this, a couple inches wide, and I just use that, and then I fold it over, and the second I'm done with it, I put it in the bucket. Anytime you're done with it, like the shingle or the tube, you have to put it in the bucket, because the stuff will get everywhere. Okay, so it doesn't set up immediately. It does take some time, so we have time to work with it. And so I roughly have it rounded and have a little bit of pitch here. So what I'm gonna do is, now that I'm gonna take my gutter piece and I'm gonna put it on there, and I'm gonna start to work the gutter piece to the shape, to the final shape that I want. then this will pitch water. Look at this. Even after I said, oh, be careful. Be careful, it gets everywhere. You get it all over yourself. Look what I did. Of course I got it all over myself. Ah. Yeah, well, that ain't just coming off either. You gotta scrub that stuff in the shower to get it off. Okay, so this piece is on. You can see I've started to shape it a little bit. It's got a little bubble in there right there. But I just use my roofing bar and I just kind of like tap it. And I'm just trying to get it to pitch from the middle outward. It doesn't have to be a beauty queen here. You know, nobody's even gonna tell anything's going on back here. We just need water to come out. And I can tell you right now that if I put water on that, it's not staying in there. So a little bit more work, and then I've got to put this counter flashing on. All right, final shot. Shingles are on. They're definitely the shingles that he had here. They don't match perfect, but maybe they'll fade. I guess these ones have faded a lot in the past 20 years. So he's happy with it. Happy with the way the shingles look. This is how the lead looks. He's happy with how the lead looks. You can see how it finishes in the back. We have a little arch in there. Plenty of pitch. He had these hip shingles in his basement to use, and man, I don't know what kind of shingles these are, but they are so much thicker than a normal one. Seems like the way they're making them now is much cheaper than that. Those things are super rugged. Yeah, that's it. That's the final product. Everything's done. It took me, I started about 9 o'clock this morning, prepped for an hour and a half, and then I had to run to Lowe's and grab lunch while I was out. That took about an hour. So, yeah, I guess it took me probably 8.5 hours to do this, which seems like a lot of time, but you know, I'm just lugging everything myself, cutting everything myself, and it's just, you know, it takes a little bit of time. And you know, if I didn't run my mouth so much, I probably could have done it in less time. It's like, you know, sometimes when the homeowners come around, they're super nice people, but sometimes I can't shut my mouth and keep working. So, you know, part of it's me just gabbing. Yep, that's all there is to it. We're off to the next one. Out of here.